Hi, I'm Dave Wurzel, and you're watching PHTV4. This is Behind the Scenes, and on Behind the Scenes we get to meet people who work in the City Hall or for the City of Palos Heights and kind of get a peek at how things happen, how things get done in the city. Today we're very fortunate. We've got Community and Economic Development Coordinator, did I get it right?
That's right.
Amy Ingalls with us, and so we're going to talk about what that job title means for her, what she does for the City of Palos Heights, and we'll get to know her a little bit better in the process. So Amy, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's quite a title.
It's long.
So we're going to talk about what that title means, what your job
Sure.
actually is. Can you give us your background before you came into this? Because you actually started relatively recently, within the last year, I believe?
I did. I started at the end of July 2024, so it's been about 6 months, a little over 6 months.
Welcome to Palos.
Thank you.
So what background did you bring to
Yeah.
that job title?
So I started out my career in about 1999 in economic development, and I worked for Will County. That's where I started, kind of during their boom period. So it kept me real busy, but since then I've been doing either economic development somewhere else in the state, or I've been working in management at a local level.
Okay. So Palos Heights is very fortunate then. You're bringing a lot of background to this.
I like to think so, yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. All right, how about, let's talk about what the job title means now, Community and Economic Development. How, what does that label mean? Because the economic thing, and maybe we can guess, but maybe you can speak to that specifically, but in general, what does your job look like then?
So that community development part of the title really just means that I'm working in doing planning and zoning in addition to economic development. They're somewhat related.
Probably a lot of overlap.
A lot of overlap, but you know, the zoning and the planning part, a little more technical. Economic development, so it's just kind of two jobs smushed together.
Okay. Well, how about, let's take the smushed together part,
Yeah.
or maybe break them apart. What does a typical day look like for you? Like, you know, what types of things are you doing on a
Yeah.
daily or weekly basis?
Well, I would say that like I have no typical day, you know, because the topics that I deal with and the types of tasks I deal with just are so different. You know, I could be researching a zoning case. I could be preparing the agenda because I'm the staff liaison for the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning and Zoning Commission. So it could be research, it could be I'm doing some reporting or compliance requirements for the TIF district. I could be out visiting a prospect. I could be meeting with a potential business in the office. I meet with residents to talk about setbacks or if they want to do some kind of rehab. And so everything with planning and zoning is the way that the land use is organized.
Okay, so it isn't just, because you mentioned, there could be
Yeah.
situations where you work with private residents or citizens on their property if they're doing something with it, right?
Yes, that is definitely, they will
Big
be,
part.
those calls will be sent to me.
Okay.
That's part of
All
what
right.
I do on a daily basis.
Can you give us a sample of like what you're working on now, and maybe then we can also talk about what future projects you're
Yeah.
working on?
So I feel like the majority of my 6 months that I've been here, I've really been trying to get to know the community, just the lay of the land, reading documents that can help me kind of keep some continuity in this position, like the comprehensive plan or the business development district plan, or just any kind of planning documents that would help me do my job better, because you know, I don't want to introduce something into the community that just isn't
Right.
good or welcome or of interest. So I'm building that framework so that, you know, I can create some strategies around the community specifically, economic development strategies in particular. Zoning is just code, strictly code. There's
Right.
nothing really, you know, nuanced about it. It's just, can I do this in this district? And I can say yes or no.
Right.
Economic development, I'd rather come up with some more strategies that are specific to this community. So I've been trying to get the lay of the land, but my first 6 months I did work pretty in depth with Tiffany Square. We did a redevelopment agreement with them. And that wasn't a long time in the making. We were able to execute that, and now I'm just monitoring that to make sure that they're meeting their requirements so that they can get their incentive.
And following it, the improvements look really nice.
They
so
do,
far,
they do.
so.
And they might have a few more things to do, and it's all listed out in the redevelopment agreement. So that is part of my job, where I'll make sure that, you know, the business will comply with what they agreed to, and you know, help them execute those agreements. Because it's a
Okay.
negotiation, basically. Because it's using TIF funding, we negotiate with them on, you know, what would be beneficial for them to grow or improve, and what's beneficial to the city as far as
Right.
revenues or aesthetics. And
It sounds like you're in some ways you're in that difficult position between representing the city and making sure that the interests are represented, but also the requirements or the zoning requirements that they're also responsible to meet. And at the same time, the incentive to help them want to do those things, right? I mean,
Yes.
so-
exactly.
juggling a
You
lot
get
of things.
it.
Okay, all right, maybe. But I do see the improvement. That's got to be nice to see when you can see a project start to
Exactly.
develop and yeah, this is working. And, well, good.
That's one of-
Congratulations on that. At least so far.
Thanks. Yeah, that and I'm trying to get a site and building database up and running that's available on our website, and that has a digitized zoning map to show where all of our TIF districts are and our business districts, and just something of use that if somebody is kind of looking around doing some research on their own, they have a tool that is, you know, usable and helpful. And
I can see where that could expedite a process. for
right,
sure.
right. So if
Okay.
anybody out there knows of any sites and buildings, please let me know. I'll put it in our database.
All right. Amy, thank you very much for that kind of rundown. Can we get to know you a little bit better in a slightly different way?
Sure.
All right. Are you ready? Here's my lightning round of questions for you. When you were little, when you were in grade school, and I'm going to pretend you, as a 5-year-old or 6-year-old, you weren't thinking community and economic developer. What did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be either a coroner or an FBI agent.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. It's
And those two are still pretty different.
yeah.
Is one of them still on your fantasy radar?
I'd say I'll drop the FBI and coroner probably.
Okay. How about this? For a vacation or when
Yeah.
you need to recharge the battery,
Yeah.
what do you do or where do you go?
Yeah, I think that's important to recharge the battery. I'm a big proponent of that for other people because we can get stressed out and
Yes.
burned out real easy in life.
It makes it hard to function in your job.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So, but for me, I'm a homebody. I
Okay.
just like to be at home.
So you
Everybody's
want the regular day and manage the house and
Yeah, I just want to be in my happy place, which is my home. That's
Uh-huh.
where my kids come, my grandkids come. So to me, it's more stressful to plan a vacation. If I'm at home in my little bubble, I'm happy and I can relax.
no, that kind of makes sense when you think
Yeah.
about the amount of time you spend in the city or dealing with whatever challenges or issues.
Commuting
And just have that
whatever.
quiet time at home.
Yeah,
and,
I love it. That's
Okay.
for me.
No, I get it for sure. How about this? Let's pretend you're invited to speak at a career day at a local high school.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give students who are considering a career in city planning?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I would first be very happy and excited. I don't think kids really look towards local government for career paths, but I think it's very overlooked. There's so many diverse, professional, technical, mechanical, any job you can think of, you could probably find it in the local government. So I would say planning profession is extremely good option. And but there's finance, there's public works, mechanics, there's law enforcement, and there's just so much available. So I would just be very encouraging to kids. And through the Illinois City Managers Association, I think a lot of administrators in different communities, they do try to do some outreach to high schools, but
It sounds like you're volunteering to come with me next time I go to Shepherd or Stagg High School. Is that what I'm hearing here?
I would be delighted to do that.
We have her on camera. Thank you very much. All right,
Yeah.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Absolutely.
How about this? What would you say is the most, I'm going to give you some options here.
Okay.
Either or you can address them all if you want, either most challenging, most interesting, or most unique part of your job? Because we don't, get to see it, or I'm not living your job.
Yeah.
So what part of that would you like to kind of make us aware of?
Yeah, I did jot a couple down
Okay.
that I want to make sure I get right because, they're big. I think that a big challenge for me is, or for in general my position, revenue generation. Sometimes just being that regulator, instead of I'm not really. Sometimes I have to tell people they don't want to hear.
Right.
I have to tell them things
Right, not
they
a pleasant
want to
experience.
do
Yeah.
that I have to tell them, I'm sorry, you can't. And that's somewhat unpleasant to deal with, but because I want to help people. I'm here
Right.
to help people, and I want people to be able to thrive, either in their home or business.
Sure, and you're assuming I'm going to say whether it's
Yeah.
a home or a business, that they want to thrive in it, they want it to go, they want it to be
Yeah.
good, but sometimes it might be in conflict, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay,
But that's probably the most unpleasant. That
Okay.
otherwise it's great.
okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to speak to any of the others? Are you good with that
I'm
one?
good, I'm good.
All right, so then I'm going to take you to we'll do the flip side of that question. What's the best part of your job?
To me, the best part is being a part of a community vision. So I'm not necessarily the person that sets that vision. Definitely involved, and I work with the leaders, the elected officials. So to me, just kind of being part of that, having input into that, getting input from other people, and then kind of seeing that come to fruition. Like you mentioned kind of earlier, where you see something happen after you've been working on it for so long. So all across Illinois, I might drive by a community that I did economic development and go, that wasn't there before I got involved and I worked on it, and now it's there, and it's employing people or offering taxes. So seeing that kind of something come up out of the ground or get refurbished is very satisfying.
I could see where that could be very rewarding, to have like a dream or a vision and then see it go.
Yeah,
Right?
it is.
Excuse me. All right, so we'll assume that this is your dream job. But if you
Yes.
had another dream job,
Yeah.
what would it be?
So you're right. I'm like completely content and feel lucky of the career that I've been able to have. At this point in my life, my dream job would be like to be a full-time grandma.
So not FBI.
No, I think I'm a little past that
Okay.
now, but
All right, well, hopefully you get the opportunity down the road then.
yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah, I hope so.
Okay, all right. Amy, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the city, and look forward to the expertise you bring to the community.
I appreciate it.
I'm Dave Worslaw. You've been watching PHTV4. We've been talking with Amy Engels, who is the Community and Economic Development Coordinator for Palos Heights. Thank you for watching.